everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. My name is Faith. Thank you so much for being here. Today is an absolute emergency video review. I had no plans on filming a video today. I'm actually kind of sick, so I'm sorry if I sound congested or gross. I know that that's probably super annoying, but what I have for you today is absolutely a makeup emergency. Drop everything you need to see this video. It's absolutely imperative. So I'm gonna battle through my congestion and we're gonna just get through it. I do kind of look a little weird right now, I'm sure too as well, because I just have my base on, like my foundation on, and my brows. And that is because today we are talking about a brand new concealer. We are going to be discussing the e.l.f. 16HR Camo Concealer. This came out maybe a week or two ago. I have noticed that a few of the top beauty YouTubers have done videos on this. I have not watched those because I want to maintain my own opinion of this. I did look at the comments on some of their videos while it was like paused. I just wanted to see what people were saying about it. I couldn't help myself, and I did notice a couple things that people were saying that I will touch on in this video. But this was kind of marketed as almost like a Tarte Shape Tape dupe. It's supposed to be extremely full coverage, extremely long wearing, and give you kind of like a matte finish under the eyes. I know Tarte Shape Tape has been the thing for so long, but it's because it's so good. This is my everyday concealer. It's also my concealer that I use for glam makeup. I'm always on the hunt for dupes. I was super excited when the Makeup Revolution concealer came out, this guy right here. I did a video actually comparing the Tarte Shape Tape to the Makeup Revolution one because a ton of people were saying that this was a dupe. But in my opinion, this came nowhere close to it. It was way too greasy on me. It's not a concealer that I really reach for. So whenever people say that there is an affordable dupe for Tarte Shape Tape, I'm super excited about it, but I'm also kind of cautious and my expectations are pretty low. I picked this e.l.f. one up the other day at Walmart. I did a Walmart haul if you want to check that out and see what else I got, but this was one of the makeup products that I got that I was super excited to try, and I wore it yesterday all day, and later in the video I will explain and get into what my thoughts are on this, but I didn't actually wear it side by side with the Tarte Shape Tape. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm actually going to do one eye with the e.l.f. concealer and then one eye with the Tarte Shape Tape so I can really compare the two. Before we get into the video, if you are new here, again, welcome. I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel before you leave here. All you have to do is hit the red subscribe button and then tap that notification bell as well if you want to be notified when I upload a video. I love my notification squad. Shout out to you guys. But that's all I have to say. Let's get right on into this emergency review video. So just a little bit of information about this before we get into application. This again is the e.l.f. Cosmetics 16HR Camo Concealer. This is $5 and there are 18 shades in this range. Now, as I had mentioned in my intro, I did look at the comment section of some of the videos that have come out about this, and the biggest thing I noticed is that people were upset with the shade range. I think specifically like the mid-tones, not even necessarily the deeper tones or the lighter tones. Definitely not the lighter tones because there's a ton of like very fair shades. I don't feel that I'm qualified to really speak on the shade range. I am more of a light to medium skin tone. I very rarely have an issue finding my shade. I'm lucky, and I know that other people do have a hard time finding their shade, but I don't really feel like I can speak on the shade range because I just don't have experience having trouble finding my shade. If you can just see here, this is the shade range. This is the darkest shade right here. So you can kind of see what that looks like. It looks pretty dark to me, but again, this is not something I've experienced with. I'm not a freelance makeup artist either, so I don't do other people's makeup of other skin tones, but I did just want to share this with you guys. There are quite a few very fair shades, and then the medium shades, it does seem like there might be a bit of a jump from very fair to just a few darker shades. So maybe that's where people were concerned. I'm not really sure, but I did want to touch on that. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on the shade range and if it's enough or if you're able to find your shade. I picked up Light Sand. Light Sand is the 4th shade in, so it's this guy right here. It is a light concealer with a warm undertone. In the Tarte Shape Tape, I have 2 that I go back and forth with. One is actually called Light Sand, but the one that I think is a best match for the Light Sand e.l.f. one is Fair in Tarte. So let me just swatch these on the back of my hand so you can see the shades. That is the e.l.f. Light Sand, and then this is Tarte Fair. Let me also swatch the Tarte Light Sand in case you're interested in that. I'll do it on top of where I did the e.l.f. one. Actually, the Tarte Light Sand might even be a closer match, so maybe we'll use that one today. The Tarte Light Sand is on top, e.l.f. Light Sand is in the middle, and then Tarte Fair is right there. So I think I will use the Tarte Light Sand today with the e.l.f. Light Sand. It's interesting that they're the same name. I didn't check the other names of the other shades to see if they are the same as some of the Tarte shade names. I'm not really sure. I'm going to zoom you guys in now, start applying, and also give you some of my thoughts and initial feedback from my first impressions wearing the e.l.f. concealer all day yesterday. I'm going to apply the e.l.f. concealer on this side and the Tarte concealer on this side. Do keep in mind, I like to use a lighter concealer. Don't come at me in the comments. It's just what I like to do. It's going to look pretty light next to my foundation shade, but it's just how I like to do my makeup. Once I blend it out, I feel like it really gives my eyes a brightened effect. One thing to note as well is that the applicators on these are basically the exact same size. This is the e.l.f. one. I'm going to be putting it on this side, and this is the Tarte one. The doe foot applicator is literally identical, which I love because I really do love that applicator. So let's go ahead and apply the e.l.f. concealer. I'm going to put it just where I normally would, right in this under eye area, kind of creating a triangle there. It's a little hard to do this comparison with the nose. I normally do take my concealer down my nose, so I guess I'm just going to have to do like half and half. And I do normally take some up on the forehead, so I'll do half there and then a little bit on the chin here. Then going in with the Tarte side, I'm going to do the same thing and just apply in a triangle. I am now going to blend out the concealer. I'm going to start on the e.l.f. side so that we're not adding in any sort of product to this. I should have also mentioned I am starting with a base. Like my primer and my foundation are products that I use all the time and love, so I wanted to do that so that I knew how the Tarte Shape Tape works on that side, so I can equally compare it on this side, if that makes sense. If you're wondering, I used the MAC Strobe Cream and Gold Light as my primer, and then I used the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. And I have been dying to tell you what my first impressions were from yesterday, and as you can probably see here as I blended that out, this concealer is so nice. When I went to apply this yesterday, I had low expectations. This concealer blew me away. I will zoom you guys in even further once I'm done blending so that you can really take a look. But the first things I noticed, and I'm still noticing today as I apply it again, is the concealer is super full coverage. It's super matte, so it's not going to crease and slip and slide around. And I have dry skin, so typically all over my face I don't go for matte products, but in terms of a concealer, I really do like a nice thick matte concealer. And I don't know how e.l.f. did it, but I'm telling you guys, this concealer is an absolute dupe for Tarte Shape Tape. Like, there's no doubt about it. What I will say about yesterday, I wore it all day, so I applied the e.l.f. concealer at like 7:30 in the morning and did not take it off until 7 or 8 at night, so a full 12 hours. I know it says it's a 16-hour one. I didn't actually wear it for 16 hours, unfortunately, so I can't give you that full review, but it looked like I was wearing my Tarte Shape Tape. It looked no different to me. Everything stayed in place. My under eyes stayed looking bright and smooth all day, and it was wonderful. I am going to zoom you guys in so you can really evaluate each side of my under eye. So this is the e.l.f. side and this is the Tarte side. I can't tell a difference whatsoever. This is why this is such an emergency review, because seriously, if you can get something as good as the Tarte Shape Tape for $5, that's amazing, because the Tarte Shape Tape I believe is like $23. I'm almost positive it's $23. So that is a huge cost savings, and it literally looks identical. So my next steps are just going to be to apply powder. I always use a loose translucent powder. Today I'll just use the Laura Mercier. It's one I use all the time. I will finish off my makeup and then show you guys the completed makeup look with everything on, just so you can see what both sides look like, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. This is the finished look with the powder and everything on my face. I wanted to show you a close-up of what each side looked like. So just as a reminder, this is the e.l.f. side and this is the Tarte side. Now I'm just going to zoom you guys out and give you my final thoughts. So with everything put together, my first impressions from yesterday and the longevity of how it wore, and then reapplying it again today here on camera for you, I can definitely say that this is the closest dupe to Tarte Shape Tape I have ever come across. There is almost nothing this doesn't have that the Tarte Shape Tape does have. Because this was such a spur-of-the-moment emergency type of review, I did film this later in the day, so doing check-ins probably wouldn't even really be fair, because I don't think I'd be able to wear this long enough to really give you a sense of how it wore. You'll just have to trust me that yesterday I wore this for 12 hours and it looked identical to what it looks like now, which is typical of my Tarte Shape Tape. I never get creasing, my under eyes always look good all day, and this did the exact same thing. So hopefully you can see just by how it applied and how it looks now what it will look like throughout the entire day. Please let me know down in the comments if you plan on picking one of these up and if you want to test it out for yourself to see if it's a dupe for Tarte Shape Tape. I certainly think it is. I'm so excited to have this now. I can't wait to just keep wearing it and not spending so much money on a concealer, because I do use a lot of concealer, so it adds up. It's about time that a drugstore concealer could give you what a higher end concealer could. I always, for the longest time, could never really find a drugstore concealer that I liked, and so I'm super excited that there is one now, and especially that it's e.l.f. because of all drugstore products, e.l.f. is one of the most affordable, like on the lower end of everything. So that is awesome. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. I know it might have seemed a little all over the place because I really just wanted to sit down and film this and get this information out to you. It's such a great makeup find, and I really suggest that you try it out. For $5, you can't go wrong. That is it though, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I love you all so, so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!